What up, people? Mike Steph here with another edition of Mike Steph's WrestleMania Memories. This WrestleMania that we're going to go back memory lane with is WrestleMania 27, which emanated from the Georgia Dome in 2011, April 3rd, I believe. The main event for this WrestleMania was John Cena attempting to regain his WWE Championship against the incoming champion, none other than The Miz. Yes, I know. I know. The Miz was WWE Champion. He cashed in his Money in the Bank late 2010 against Randy Orton with help from the Nexus, I believe. And he was riding high, and I ain't gonna lie. Was I a Miz fan at the time? Wouldn't say I was a Miz fan, but I didn't knock his hustle. Didn't knock his hustle whatsoever. But this WrestleMania is also, that was really a backdrop. This WrestleMania also was the continuation, the next chapter of the storyline between The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and guess who got into the fray? None other than the cerebral assassin himself, Triple H. They had their quote-unquote first WrestleMania battle, like WrestleMania 17 wasn't a thing, but neither here nor there. And the main attraction for this WrestleMania was none other than the return of The Rock. The Rock returned to WrestleMania, returned to WWE after X amount of glorious years. And he set his sights on none other than John Cena. Yes, John Cena was in his crosshairs. And they had promo battles like none other. Promo battles in which John Cena, to be honest, got the best of the situation. So this started a 3 WrestleMania arc, a 3-year arc in the rivalry of The Rock and John Cena. The Rock was the host of WrestleMania 27. And of course, you know he was going to be involved in the main event because if he's the host, then he has beef with John Cena, of course. Miz was on the outside looking at it like, don't forget about me. I am the champion. I am the WWE champion. I'm the Miz. And I am awesome. And he had the backup with Alex Riley. And I'm not gonna lie, they were a good act. They were a good act. Do you know that the Miz is the only quadruple crown winner in WWE history that did it twice? US, United States, tag team, and WWE Championship. He all won those at least 2 times. Nobody else in history has done that. So I will start about talking about The Undertaker and Triple H. Triple H, after almost a year out of the ring, I don't believe he was in the ring from after he squashed Sheamus that time in WrestleMania 26. And he came back to avenge his best friend's retirement. Triple H was like, listen, you put my friend down. You put my friend out of the business. And I don't like that. So I challenge you to a match at WrestleMania. I want to take the streak. And once again, there was a possibility due to who The Undertaker was going against. Was it credible from a wrestling standpoint? Yes, it was. Was it very credible from a political standpoint? Yeah, damn right it was, because if there was anybody at this point in time that was going to be able to take that notch and put it in their belt of having the Undertaker's undefeated streak ended by them, it would be Triple H. You know, husband of Stephanie McMahon, son-in-law of Vince McMahon. At the time, 13-time champion. It was a whole bunch, so it wasn't that far flung. This match was hard hitting. This match was, dare I say, the best of the night, because it was. I'm not gonna lie, and like I said, this was right in the beginning of the streak of matches in which the Undertaker was on his last legs, but he was pulling out classic after classic after classic. Of course, Triple H lost, which brings us to next year, in which we'll talk about in our next installment of WrestleMania Memories. But Triple H lost, but by the skin of his teeth. He actually did not tap out. He passed out right before he was able to hit the Undertaker with his trusty sledgehammer. Go figure. Other matches on this card, which was an underwhelming card. You had CM Punk versus Randy Orton in the undercard. Whoopee. Did you have, I think it was Cody Rhodes versus Rey Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship, if I'm not mistaken. There was another noteworthy match, and that was the beginning of the show, in which Edge retained the World Heavyweight Championship against Alberto Del Rio. Yes, Alberto Del Rio was the winner of the Royal Rumble, and everybody just assumed that he was the chosen one. He was the man. And Edge won. Little did we know, the night after, Edge had to announce his impromptu retirement due to neck issues, and he was forced into retirement for 9 years. He did not return to wrestling until 2020 as a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble. And 6 years later, he's still wrestling, not with the WWE, but in AEW with his brother, his best friend, his compadre, Christian Cage. So yeah, the main event was a slog. You had The Miz retain the WWE Championship against John Cena due to countout and due to the interference of none other than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Like I said, this WrestleMania was only noteworthy for the return of The Rock for the next 3 years, on and off. After this match, after this WrestleMania, on the Raw after WrestleMania, The Rock and John Cena announced that they would be fighting each other at the following year WrestleMania. 1 year in the making. So you had a year build-up to the WrestleMania 28 main event. So it seemed like it was a fait accompli that whatever John Cena was going to do, he was already in the main event for next year. The Rock said he was back, but then he took a year off. The Rock said he was back, and he wouldn't leave the fans, but yet he took a year off. The Rock said he was the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, but yet lost a promo battle numerous times, over and over and over again, against who he termed Fruity Pebbles, John Cena. This was the time in which John Cena actually did get some respect for not only hanging, but dare I say, burying The Rock with the gift of gab. The Rock was coming with old quotes, attitude era lines, and John Cena was carving him up. Much to my chagrin, but it was what it was. Like I said, this WrestleMania was trash. This WrestleMania was really trash. You know, I'm shocked that I was able to get 10 minutes in on this WrestleMania because, to tell you the truth, it really didn't deserve 10 minutes at all. Not a darn thing. So, with all that being said, I will see y'all next week. Tomorrow, when I recap to the best of my ability, because, for all those who don't know, this is not a script. This is not something that I've done studied. This WrestleMania memories are based on the memories I have of those WrestleManias off the top of the noggin, off the top of the dome, of what I was doing at that time, my place in life at that time. That's why it's called WrestleMania memories, not WrestleMania recap, not WrestleMania rundown, not WrestleMania nostalgia. WrestleMania memories. The most important word of that phrase is memories. Sometimes I remember more than others. Sometimes I don't. I guess the closer we get to current time, time might be longer, but sometimes it's better to be short and precise than long and blabber on. Anyway, I'm about to blabber. I'm about to go on a tangent somewhere. So I'm going to get out of here. I will see y'all later tomorrow for the next installment of Mike Steph's WrestleMania Memories. Goodbye.